Follow me.
Goddess Anisa, you're working as Tech Dom. So it's a profession that does not exist so long. It is a very new and young profession connected with a massive use of digital devices. Can you describe your work a bit?
Yes, as you said, Tech Domination is actually a kink and fetish related kind of work related to the field of classical domination, but instead of doing physical pain, it's all about the devices. But if we look at our relationships to our tech devices, they seem to be more intimate than to our body parts. Like nobody has a problem. Well, some people have a problem, but in general, people have no problem to display themselves in photos all over the net. They would never do so with their phone. The phone is the most protected part in all your possessions, including your body parts. And for some reason that I'm not 100% sure about why it happened, I'm still doing research on that, Tech Domination became a thing about, I think it started 10 years ago in the tech cities in the world, like such as Toronto and California, of course. And I'm one of the first Tech Dominatrixes in Europe, actually, because I came across that field and was instantly fascinated. I read about it and I was like, I want to do that. And then I started about 2 years ago.
What sensitive information, which sensitive information do you get from your clients, from your subs? So the password of email accounts, the Visa card number, the social media access, so what they provide you?
Well, the thing is, I mean, there are definitely different levels. And of course, I work in a very niche fetish that anyone outside that bubble probably has never heard about. And some people who heard about this, they say this is like total crazy, like it's out of imagination. And of course, what information people provide is very, very differently. I mean, some subs hyperventilate almost in the moment when they connect to their computer, and others go very, very far. I mean, so like accessing a computer is already quite intrusive. Getting a parental control software or even a spy software on someone's phone, very intrusive. Nobody actually wants that. Some subs are totally crazy about keyloggers. A keylogger basically protocols all everything that you push, like all. So basically, if you have a keylogger on a device, you get everything. You get like every password, everything they have written. So it doesn't make any sense to let me a keylogger install, but it excites them. And I have, some people, they try to go. I mean, it's a thing, like when you like something, you always want to go next level, next level, next level. So you start with connecting. Some let me take over their social media accounts. Others would, of course, never do that. Some go as far as that they trust me that far that they give me all the information, including credit card numbers, PayPal passwords, and all that. The problem often is the two-factor authentication that you need for most apps, but then you need extra phone and all that. Anyway, I mean, often for the subs and also for me, like working through the progress is actually fun, like finding out how you can achieve certain levels or even get around the security measures of payment providers, because often what happens actually quite often in my field is that the security of the payment providers makes alarm, because it is suspicious to them if a client is being, well, if obviously the computer is standing in another part of the world than it normally is, and so on. So.
And the access to smart houses? So
Smart houses. Yeah. I mean, this fun thing is, I mean, the smarter our home and our surrounding gets, the more influence I get. So if someone lives in a smart house, I can turn the heater up or down. Preferably, I make them install cameras in their house, possibly as many that I can see every angle. I can print out photos from their computer, because everybody's printer is connected to the local Wi-Fi. I wish I could program an Alexa skill that bosses my... Alexa always talks in that nice voice. But wouldn't it be fun if Alexa is being really bitchy and mean? But I don't think Amazon would want that. But smart homes give a lot of opportunities, and I'm looking forward to experiment more in that field.
And you're working now for more than 2 years, as you said, as Tech Dom. I'm sure you're reflecting a lot about that job and about your clients, about your subs, and about the communication. So let's talk maybe a bit about that. So what do you think? What is the motivation of your subs giving sensitive data to you and putting their digital soul in your hands?
I mean, if my clients had a full social life, they surely wouldn't contact me. So many of them do live isolated. Others may live in social conditions that do not suit their personality. So for some of my subs, they have families and kids, they're good providers, but they have that side that they suppress. And, it probably helps to live one side where in the real world they don't have the opportunity to be that. So yes, I do agree that some subs live in. Some people are kind of loners even before the lockdown. The lockdown kind of enforced it, and many people were like, actually, I'm quite okay with the situation. I don't need the outside world, and they're very selective about the contact that they have, and with the internet they can get in contact with me, which they otherwise wouldn't, right?
But unhappiness and the feeling of being isolated is not the main motivation for your clients. It's also the desire to become somebody else and to enter. I didn't say that they are unhappy. I think they might be unhappy with their surrounding, and if somebody realizes they are happier at home than at the norm core outdoor activities, I think it's better to stay at home. Why be in a crowd which you don't enjoy, So I think, most of my clients reach out to me on Twitter. That is probably the social media platform where to look for these things, even though Twitter is quite restrictive and people like me risk being banned there. They reach out on Twitter, and I had a work sub once who really liked doing tasks, and I had him make a map, with these red pins where you show where all the subs were, and basically they were around the Western world, because this is a kind of fetish that only exists in the Western world. I had one sub from China actually once, but that's very rare. And so all over the Western world basically. Australia, Canada, a lot from Canada, USA, Great Britain,
Scandinavia,
And they offered you then to take over the access to the...
No. I mean, they're very careful, right? They heard about it. I also have made some video material. I mean, I have one interview on YouTube that really helped, because as you can imagine, when you get approached several times a day, you have the same kind of conversation over and over. And now I can recommend people to watch my video. And when they kind of think it's something for them, then they reach out to me. And then they have specific questions, and I have the idea. Yeah, I mean, when I started 2 years ago, there were fewer tech DOMs around. Now there are some, so I even get in touch with people that already have a bit of experience, which is also nice. And right, so...
It seems to me, for me, that you are really found something like a new taboo of our time, what is connected with the computer and with the computer age, yeah? Because there were taboos before the computer, like our body, for instance, where it was taboo to hurt it. But now we have all these sensitive data. So we have something like a digital body as an extension of our body.
Yeah, definitely.
Where we have our passwords, where we have all the sensitive information, and which we protect, of course, yeah? But you found now a way that your clients, your subs, that they get a pleasure from that right, this taboo is
these
attacked.
Little rebels. Yeah, maybe, I don't know, yeah. I mean, it's always tempting to do the opposite of what you're being asked for, or a big taboo actually feeds desire.
And because people get it so much in their head and
I mean, maybe it's just
don't give your password away.
And actually, and the thing is, the subconsciousness does not know negotiation. So don't give your password away. I suppose it's a bit of a relief. And I mean, sometimes people have other motivations, like they have kinks and fetishes that they cannot talk about. For example, sometimes the play is just that I go through the entire computer and they're like, oh, but I have a folder with sensitive information. And then I find a photo with pictures where they're dressed up. Yeah, I mean, I grew up in Berlin. I hardly, like, okay, you're dressed up. That's, but in other cultural contexts, that could be, it's not acceptable to be seen that way. So they have something that they hide, and they really, really like to share it. Or sometimes they live under a lot of pressure and all kind of different motivations.
So that actually the entire personality, also the secret personality, is exposed to you and only to you.
Yeah, or maybe another dom, but no one in their real, maybe they had a previous online domination, because I mean, I'm like specialized on tech domination, but there are lots of online dominatrixes who do all kind of stuff that you can do online without the physical interaction.
And everybody has a right that the personal data are protected, but here this personal right is somehow not working.
Well, I mean, if they have the right, they have it protected, but they also have the right to give it away, right? So if they want to do that, just that, it's at least their choice, I would say.
If you say your choice, so another thesis would be that everybody knows we are surrounded by surveillance. Yeah? So when we are using a smartphone, we have no idea which data by using the smartphone are stored and so on. But we have no idea who is our opponent, who is the big brother.
Yeah.
So sometimes
come on, I mean, if you can choose between Big Brother and me, who would you take?
Right. So this is
like anonymous Big Brother or like person.
So this is something like a really decision. It's a conscious decision to say, hey, I give my personal data to you. I break this taboo and I give my personal data away. I allow surveillance. And this is something completely different than not knowing that you are controlled and monitored with what you're doing.
Absolutely. I always I had that claim, no to anonymous mass surveillance and yes to sexy individual surveillance. So I can agree that, but of course I'm like totally against the other, right?
So would you say this is actually a sex work?
I say this is actually sex work, you know. I had a friend who said, this is prostitution, and I was like, is it? And then I looked up definition of prostitution, which really means physical contact with someone's genitals. I mean, which a digital sex worker doesn't have. But, you know, you could say, I thought, you know, also what the field I deal with has a lot to do with chastity, constraint, actually not having sex, being locked up, but it is related to sexuality. So I'd say it's really hard to answer. And I mean, I know that for some subs, my role varies between, you know, something to fantasize about, idolizing also like a shrink, sometimes like a mummy. So the variety of role that I take is pretty big. On the other side, I would say it is something that sex workers actually experience. So I thought about this question a lot and I didn't come to a conclusion yet. I think adult entertainment really describes it, but adult entertainment is often used as describing sex work. So, but yeah.
Let's talk about pleasure and desire, and about the speciality of the desire of your clients. I mean, there's one thing that you get controlled, that the children is controlled by the mother or monitored by the mother.
That is one factor.
Or with the computer, so through the computer, so your clients get a pleasure from this getting controlled through the computer.
No, definitely.
So how you would describe this kind of pleasure?
How would I describe that kind of pleasure? It's really hard. We should actually ask my subs about it. I think a big factor is like, you know, that that matters to many of them, that they have actual contact, because about many kinks and niche fetishes, there are videos that you can watch. And when you have like something very specific, there are not many people in the world that you can talk to. So having someone to connect on a very specific topic, I think that is also plays a big role, you know. They have that weirdest kink. I mean, just imagine you had that and you, for example, I mean, I have apps, I have subs that let me, I give them the login to apps and they put their credit card number down, which means I can use their credit card anytime. Now, if you told someone that you did that, everybody would think you're crazy, right? This is like if you have that special fetish, who can you tell about it? So, on the one side, I mean, I provide that we actually do that kind of play, but I also provide to talk about the topics. That is most important. That is not most important, but that's very important.
Who are your clients? So they all have knowledge about fetish already, or what is the profession of the clients?
Well, I mean, most of them have, I mean, after all, they have to be over 18, but many of them are, I would say, at least over 30. So, and from the backgrounds, I realized...
so no natural digitals, so no native digitals.
What do you mean by that?
Kids who grow up with the computer, so all your clients have a life without digital devices. They can remember their life without digital devices.
I see. I mean, I have some in their 20s, like mid-20s, but the thing is, if you deal with me, you have to have your own income, you know, so if you still live with your mommy, you can't spend your pocket, right? So, and also, I would say, like, in that age, you start to develop your kinks, and actually, I do hope they develop them in the real world. But I would say the majority is aged between 30 until mid-50s. That's like where the majority is. And job-wise, It's just, name a job. I probably had it. It's like retired attorneys, truck drivers, math teachers, lots of IT guys, people who work in cybersecurity actually. It's pretty wild, and I find it quite interesting. I even had one who works in prison. So I was fascinated, but so he probably works in the prison, and then he wanted to be in a digital prison.
So he needs somebody who is also observing. So he's observing the entire day, and after the working day, he needs somebody who is observing him.
Right.
Yeah. So changing the position from the observer to the one who is observed by you. Let's talk now more about the technical side. So, which programs you used, from where you get the programs? Is this something what is available for everybody, or is this professional spyware that is used, for instance, also from the States or from the Secret Services?
Right. Well, I'm not using the spyware that everybody's talking about in the media right now, like Pegasus stuff. I don't do that. I use stuff that is pretty easy to get. To connect the computers, I use a software that some people might have come across, like in a work context, because their admin uses it, or someone to fix their computer, or it is also used to when you work with people
it's
like
AnyDesk, yeah?
Long distance. Yeah, this is AnyDesk. TeamViewer is even more popular.
Okay, now you enter the computer.
Now I enter I enter the AnyDesk number of a submissive. In this case, he's from Italy, and so the computers connect. I bet he's like super excited, but I have to allow the connections. Okay, and now we are waiting. We are waiting for the connection to start. Here we go.
So now you're on the desktop?
Not yet. It's still not yet, but we are on our way to the desktop. Often they prepare their desktop by some clean up to make sure there is no personal data. Others prepare by making like their background or wallpapers maybe really colorful or beautiful or kinky or whatever, whatever they want to let me know. They put on. Here we are. This is his desktop, and of course we want to communicate with Sub. So I open, just a type program like Word or Notepad or whatever he has.
And then, like a ghost, you appear on the other computer.
Exactly.
You can control from now on.
Then I write hello puppy, and. But he's been waiting, and he says, "Hi, Miss."
He must wait, or.
But he does.
You give the orders that he should wait.
Well, we just started the communication. So first, I establish 2 rules. I'm definitely going to establish more rules later, but we start with the first 2. But I'm not called Miss or Mistress. I'm called Goddess. And the other one I find important is, like, whenever I finish a sentence, I want him to count to 5 and then type. So, because basically we are using a keyboard at the same time, and then it can get quite messy. And also, I don't like it when people are too impulsive. So 5 seconds actually gives them a short moment of reflection. So I let him know this, and look how smart he is. He says, "Yes, Goddess," after having waited more than 5 seconds. So now I'm connected.
Okay, but at the moment you're on the surface of the computer. But what is the next level? How you can go deeper and really take over the computer?
Okay, well, it really depends what we have agreed on before. That is most important for me. For example, there are like snoop around sessions where I just stay on the surface and I look into his browser history. I check all the bars he has open, which is quite interesting, you know, to find if it's like CNN or Fox News or whatever he's into. That already.
So you can see the political view even from the browsers.
Pretty quickly indeed, and then I look at the reading marks, and maybe I find already like profile information here. I really like looking into the bin, because maybe he put something there that he didn't want me to find. And computer takeover, you know, I don't do it like right now. I actually watch how person is reacting to the situation, because it is, I mean, for me it's like something I do every day. But for people, it's really intrusive, right? If obviously someone is using your device, can like open and close the browser, it can make you feel quite powerless, and this is actually the whole point. So in the end, we see how it goes, and then we communicate if I take over the computer.
And in contrast to Google or to Facebook, you are not storing the data you get. So you are actually very polite surveillance done, because you're not storing the data and you're not misusing the data.
That's exactly not what I'm doing.
So what is this now? So you go one level deeper here.
What I want is I want certain access rights on his computer. So, for example, when we started the sessions, he had to accept me coming in, but actually I don't like to ask for permission. I want to have the permission anyway. So I set myself a password, which he doesn't know, only I know it. So basically I can connect any time I want. And then you could say, oh, but he can like kick off the AnyDesk program. He can surely do that as long as he's admin of his computer. When I take over the admin right...
So now the computer is yours.
When I take the admin right, make him standard user, I would also very importantly need to install a parental control which stops him from getting into the registry. I mean, like really smart computer people, they always find their way out, but it's a very small percentage of my subs. And actually... it's just a small percentage who wants to challenge me. You know, it's not about can I break out. They just want to feel, they have the feeling of being contained, of being in it. Another scary thing that you can do is, let me show you this. You can actually turn someone's screen black.
But you can use it then.
I see the screen, but they see black screen only. And that
they have no idea what you're doing.
They have no idea what I'm doing. And that is like, scary as hell.
Right. And after 1 hour, it's again.
Some subs they deconnect when that happens sometimes.
And I mean, here we now in this example we saw how you have the access to the computer and see the computer, but when you have the access to the entire house, when it is a smart house, you also see the videos of your client, and you can really control them like in a Big Brother situation.
Right. Yeah. No. This is something that I like to do. Sometimes for example, many are like really into sports, and I'm not into sports, so I reduce the time they watch sports, or I let them watch what they want as rewards, because many are into tasks and rewards. So in order to give tasks and rewards, I have to find out what they like and what can be a task and so on.
So normally people were 20 years ago, people were consuming Big Brother situation in TV with this new format.
Yeah,
and now everybody can become an own star and starring in their own Big Brother show. Actually,
they can. It's true, but I think it's also about making a connection to a person that you can talk very freely about really maybe odd ideas, strange things. Some people feel like they're confessing in me, which I'm like totally fine with, and so it is a variety of fields that falls. that relates.
What is the bigger desire of your subs, to remain in the digital cave or to go out from the digital cave?
Well, I mean, that varies, you know. Sometimes they have like their king persona really would like to stay in there forever, but they have, you know, sometimes they have a family situation or their life circumstance change, and then they have to go. Sometimes when they started, they were not in a relationship. Then they have one, and then things change. So, you know, not everybody's life stays. I mean, you know, there are changes happening in life, and that might also have an impact on their behavior, or. You know, like they have discovered it, they're into the king for a while, and then all of a sudden they're like, okay, you know, not interested anymore. Next, you know.
Then they're free. Then they get unchained from the cave, and they go
right.
to the,
well,
to
they
the,
get
to the next level.
Of course, they have to agree with me on what terms. Yeah.
And on how many computers you have the access at the moment? So is it 10 or is it 50 or? What's the
It's like when I scroll through here, it's in the hundreds.
Some hundreds.
Yeah, I mean, some of the computers I'm in regular contact, and others just one-time trial and.
But now you see your power you have with controlling one computer or 10 computer or a dozen of computer or 1,000 computer, and now you get an imagination of this about the power of Facebook and of the big companies who have the access to billions of computers and also the access to billions of personal data. I
totally agree. They should not have that much power, and people should be more aware whom they give that power to. And of course, some people, I mean, kind of makes sense that people chose me over Facebook, right?